Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. We're going to be playing several games tonight, but while I'm eating my mashed potatoes, I'm going to be playing a little bit of, I don't know where it is. Stanley? Stanley, where are you? Oh, there he is. This computer. I'm gonna be playing a bit of Stanley, and I'm not even gonna say what the next game I'm gonna be playing is. You just have to stick around and find out. Anything could happen tonight, and I mean anything. Enter the current time. Is that a thing? I don't know. What time is it? 12:28. Has this always been a thing? Interesting. That and someone unplugged my computer. It's gonna take a billion years to pull up the chat then. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's alright. It's okay. It's alright. Hi Moonski. You got a Polaroid picture printer? Heck yeah. Is that those instant picture things? I'm supposed to click something? Both times you boot up the game? A lot of people don't take this step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12. Oh. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Okay. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see a screen, just set the clock to my favorite time. Okay. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Aw, that's awesome. Okay. Cool. Yeah, welcome back to Stanley Parable 2, sequel to the award-winning Stanley Parable. Never the end. It's Bluetooth too. I highly recommend it.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I have mashed potatoes right now.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month.
Well, I'm glad you're here today, Moonski.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the
What house you at on this night?
Though he had been made exactly for this job.
I wish I had a bottle of
Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Welcome back. Check out the instart again. Thanks. I'm gonna go get a bottle of water. Oh, Satan dropped a gift basket. Thank you, Satan. Custo got one. Oh yeah, Brute got one. Moonski did not get one. Catman got one. Moonleader got one. Hi Panda. Make it meme. Let me get a bottle of water. Oh, that's some good water. I'm eating genuine water and mashed potatoes. It's a good combo. Highly recommend it. Make it meme? Not right now. Now I'm in a Stanley mood, but perhaps Sunday. There's some door that if
All of his co-workers were gone.
There's some
What could it
door that
mean?
if you click on it...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
I was just
room.
checking
Perhaps
out the
he had simply
achievements.
missed
There's
a
some
memo.
door that if you click on it
No
a bunch
matter
of
how
times,
hard
it
Stanley
opens,
looked, he
or you
couldn't
get an
find a
achievement or
trace of his
something.
co-workers.
I think it's door 415, perchance, perhaps. Perhaps it's door 4... Why am I running so fast? Whoa, is this new? What's with all these balloons? It's door 415. The first time I played this game, I was just really tired. I don't think I was in the best Stanley mood, but I'm better now. I got my mashed potatoes and I got my water. Just really all you need. No more
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him,
What?
begging him
Where's
to
the new
pick it
door?
up. Why was he not doing it?
What bucket? What bucket? Where'd that bucket come from?
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Alright, got a bucket. I think it's door 415. You have to click on a bunch. It's some door. I don't know what door it is. Some door you have to click on a bunch of times. Maybe it's door 417. Some door you just have to absolutely go ape on. I think it's gotta be this one. There's like stuff to do back there.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's
There's
touch,
just this
but
open
it did
door.
little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket.
Cute bucket. Very cool. Okay, where am I going? Hey, Kirkland frozen pizza kind of slaps. Heck yeah, I had frozen pizza yesterday. Kirkland. Yo, try
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest
try
and
pizza
entered
with
the door on
some
his
mustard
left.
for dipping sauce. It's really good. Some door you have to click on a bunch. This door has nothing on it. Why is everything different?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find... Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
It doesn't.
I
It's
can really
mine.
feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet.
No.
That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Thank you, bucket.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender
don't
spiritual
remember what it
connection
is.
he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Thank you, bucket. Very cool. What is this? Is that a collectible?
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines.
Yeah.
Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Bucket time starts now.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
It'll be all right.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
No, we won't. I got my bucket with me.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Bucket, 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 bucket. Really been craving lamb. I had lamb this week. Lamb's good. Lamb is tender.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
No! Bucket!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
No!
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Welcome you to the grand exhibit. You're standing. Acknowledge bucket itself. Thank you, bucket. Where'd my bucket go?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Billions died. Oh. Okay. Bucket list. Wow. I somehow felt this would be a very good...
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh. Uh-oh. Hello?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Is the bucket okay? Wow. Switch sides.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Crochet Among Us character. Heck yeah! Dude, I would love a Crocheted Among Us character. Glory memes. Is this a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about
ready.
what is or is not a bucket.
Okay.
Okay, let's begin.
That's a bucket.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
It's a bucket.
Incorrect.
What?
It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
No!
Item 2. Is this a
I saw
bucket?
it wobble. That's a bucket. No!
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What? That...
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
What?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Maybe there's a trick question.
Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Okay.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yeah, it's a bucket.
Trick
Yes.
question.
Oh.
Both. Gotcha.
What? Okay.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, it's a bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
You better not.
Okay, here we go.
You better not. Oh.
What happened? Is everything gone?
It's all...
Why did everything disappear? Wait,
it's
was
all
everything
bucket?
a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
All right. It's a bucket! It's a bucket! It's a bucket! It's a bucket!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's a bucket.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket.
It's a bucket. Okay. So they changed the blankets to colors. Crochet blanket. Heck yeah. Moss green. Entire blanket out of single stitch. That's awesome. Cool. Well, you know what time it is. Alright, everyone. It's time for Among Us. We will be ending this stream and starting up again in 1 minute. Join us. It's Among Us time.